Live from the Cohen Center in downtown Portland, this is Cohen 6 News. Watching out for you.
It's the day we can't forget. 9 months after the deadly shooting at Reynolds High School, students say thank you to the people who rushed to help that day.
We really do. We care about those kids, and obviously they showed us today what they think of the first responders.
An emotional tribute to our local heroes. And at 6 o'clock, good evening, everyone. I'm Jeff Gianola.
And I'm Ann State. Our Amy Frazier is live at Reynolds High School tonight with how these people who helped are being honored tonight.
Well, today was Heroes Day here at Reynolds High School, an event that brought some police officers to tears. This is student video of Heroes Day at Reynolds High School. Students broke out in applause as first responders headed to a special lunch made by a cooking class in their honor.
So they saved our lives, in my opinion, and it just means so much for me to give back to them.
On June 10th of last year, 15-year-old Jared Paget shot and killed 14-year-old Emilio Hoffman and injured a teacher before taking his own life. At a special assembly today, 200 first responders were presented with a tribute coin, something Troutdale's police chief says he'll keep with him always.
It's bittersweet when you go through something like this. We're never going to forget the loss of 2 students here, but, you know, people need to come together in relationship to heal, and that's what this is all about. Isn't it great that our kids recognize something like that? And especially for law enforcement, if you think about what's happening nationwide and what's happening here today, what a difference.
It's another step in the healing process for students, staff, and the community.
You could see some of the officers even, tearing up, and that's not something you see every day. So it was really great to make their day.
And police officers here today tell me it is such an honor to be honored by these students. Reporting live in Troutdale, Amy Frazier, Cohen 6 News.
Yeah, Amy, I just think it's such a great tribute to take time out, remembering that tragic day, but looking forward and saying thank you to those who really were a big help that day and saved lives.
Yeah, it really did mean the world to these first responders, and they said it was so unexpected, so they said that made it kind of neat, too.
Okay, Amy Frazier out in Troutdale tonight. Amy, thank you.
We are getting answers tonight about scaffolding safety after strong winds ripped some of it down in downtown Portland. We've got the video here. This video was captured by a viewer. This is the scaffolding blowing off the former Greek Cuisina at Southwest Washington and 4th yesterday. While we checked, we found out the Bureau of Developmental Services is responsible for making sure that anybody walking under scaffolding is safe. So we sent our Alicia Ash to find out if everything really is up to code.
In this case, were the board's regulation, and when was the last time you guys checked on it?
Yes, as far from our review, everything was in compliance.
And we found out no one was working inside that building when the scaffolding come down. A 19-year-old woman is recovering after a tree crushes her Jeep near Portland State yesterday. We've learned Christina Turner is now in fair condition. Amazingly, she has mostly minor injuries. Rescuers tell us, though, if that tree had come down just a few inches in another direction, she could have been killed.
Well, crews also cleaning up at this apartment building in Columbia County. You can see that huge tree fell across the parking lot onto the apartment building. And Kristen, that wind blew for about 2 hours. Caught a lot of people by surprise. I know we lost an awning at our house. Some other neighbors had some trees down. It really was furious for a while.
And the biggest problem was all of that wind came after a whole lot of soaking rain. So, that soil was already loosened up quite a bit. And we had the strongest winds by far of the year. And in fact, you have to go back to last December's storm to see winds this strong. And on top of that, with the wet weather, that just made it even rougher. We had the wettest 2-day stretch for the month of March on record. That was from Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, 1.5 inches of rain. Sunday, almost 1 inch of rain. So we've been wondering where the rain has been for the month of March. Well, we certainly picked it up over this past weekend. And again, the strongest gust of the year at the Portland airport, 58 miles an hour. That is severe wind that does damage, and many of you saw that. So our rain to date so far, let's talk about that. We've been lagging behind a little bit, but now Portland at almost 1/2 inch of a surplus. We're also at a little bit of a surplus in Salem. Eugene and Astoria still have some ground to make up for. Eugene about 1 inch below where where they should be. Astoria also down below normal. I'll take a closer look at that, of course. And, of course, today the sun was back, but is going away again for St. Patrick's Day. I'll let you know how that's going to pan out, too, in my full forecast.
Thank you, Kristen. Now a crime alert. Vandals hit a local organization that helps transport autistic children and developmentally delayed adults. You're looking at the damage at Safe Transportation on Northeast Clackamas Street. Sometime between Saturday morning and Monday morning, you can see tires were slashed on more than 24 cars. Doesn't this just make you sick? The group tells us they're not sure who would do something like this.
You're impacting 160 some odd individuals that are counting on this transportation on a daily basis. This isn't funny. In many cases, it's life and death matters.
The organization says it's going to cost them between $20,000 and $30,000 to fix all the cars. So if you know anything about this vandalism, you're asked to call Portland Police.
Owners of a wild animal park in Canby think that they're being treated unfairly by Clackamas County inspectors.
This facility has been closed to the public now for more than a year, and Tim Becker has been investigating. And, Tim, you have some more answers for us tonight.
Yeah, fortunately we do. The owners at a Walk on the Wild Side tell me that they have just been scrambling to meet some March deadlines given to them by code enforcement at Clackamas County. They think they aren't being given enough time, but I sat down with county officials today, and they say that's not true.
No more people.
No one on the property.
No one on the property. They don't care who you are, what your reason is.
Workers at this home to both farm and exotic animals wonder how for 7 years they were able to charge visitors for an up-close look at and to learn about everything from tigers to turkeys. And why tents and tarps long used to shelter some animals are no longer acceptable.
That's why I want answers why all of a sudden it's no longer okay.
The place was not safe, is what you're saying, for the public.
Correct.
Andrea Hall is the Clackamas County Code Enforcement Officer who's been working the case. She tells me the list of violations she recently sent to the animal park have been known to its owners since last June, and some even before that.
This has been going on for over a year now, and the county staff's been very actively engaged with the property owners in trying to find a resolution to the issue.
The county's paper trail on the case dates back to November of 2013, when they first told the park it could no longer charge for entry or allow any public on site because the land is zoned strictly for agricultural use.
One of the issues with this property is that I don't think there's a zone out there that they could change to that would allow this.
On site, the county says there are still structural, electrical, and safety issues that need to be addressed. And the owners tell me they'll start in earnest this week. But it's costing money they don't have, so they've started a GoFundMe site to help.
How do you react when someone says this isn't fair?
Well, they're certainly allowed to have their opinion, and it could feel not fair, and that's valid because that's their perception. But as Tim said, the bottom line is we want people on that property to be safe.
Okay, so the park still makes money from off-site education programs, but the owner there figures they've still lost by having to close the doors about $50,000. Now, the county is going to allow them to open their doors 1 month a year, and that's October for their Halloween event from the 1st of October to the 31st, if and only if and when they do comply with the other code violations.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens because it's a little bit of time still to go.
Yeah, they have some time in there. And,
all right. Tim, I know you'll keep us updated.
A lot of people are already weighing on this story, on the Coin 6 Facebook page, and we want to hear from you there as well, so check it out and like us while you're there as well.
Well, next, Portland's controversial street fee may be on hold, but now Metro's trying to add another transportation fee on top of that. We're asking why.
And get an up-close look at a special robot, how it may help you in your next visit to a local hospital. You're watching Coin 6 News, watching out for you.